All right, so Lil Yachty, man. I got to play this.
Lil Yachty was on Quinn Blackwell, I think, her cooking show. Mm-hmm. Let's play it. Because I have a point that I wanted to make specifically. But we
spent $100,000 on a trip to Disney once. How much have you spent on charitable causes this year? Let's start cooking these pancakes.
This year technically just started. So this year, it's hard to.
What about last year?
Well, last year, it's hard to gauge.
All right. So what about the year before last year?
Oh, well, that year, that's a good year. Yeah, it's just blurry. I be doing so much.
BLM? Since you want to be so black power?
BLM is a scam.
Clip that. Send it to the fucking news.
BLM was literally a scam. They had bought mansions, and you probably wouldn't know anything about it because you don't care about black people. So you don't follow black
I do care about black people. Look at my chocolate. You're mad.
It's a disguise.
You're mad. I think I'm literally the most pro-black.
So I'm glad that he went this far into that. Hold on.
Before, because the point I wanted to make before, I think it's really funny that he did that on Quinn's platform in the first place, because the joke that he made about her not caring about black people, that was not a joke. Like, Quinn is, you could say that she's slightly like one of the whitewashed black girls. Black women are not a monolith. You can be whatever you want to be. But people would label her as one of the whitewashed black girls. Her audience is very white. And then Lil Yachty choosing to say that on her platform, knowing what her audience looks like and how they might take that and run with it, is extremely irresponsible, on top of him just genuinely being incorrect.
But then also the fact, I wouldn't have been mad if he just would have said BLM a scam and then just left it at that. But then the qualifier afterwards being like, oh, you don't care about black. Nigga, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
She cares more about black people by not saying anything that she doesn't know anything about versus you spreading misinformation and lies.
Because I know the one thing that you probably watched was your country ass sat there and watched that weak ass Candace Owens documentary about it. And I'm pretty sure you couldn't actually perceive outside of the words that she was saying what actually was going on and what she was portraying, because she was misconstruing like she always does. And the main reason that this is so frustrating is because if you actually go into the Black Lives Matter and what they were doing, there was no fraud. So I can even prove there's not no fraud. So AP reported this. Fraud lawsuit against Black Lives Matter Foundation dismissed in California. This was in 2023 when this was dismissed. So it has been already clear what these people have been shown right here. It says, in dismissing the lawsuit, Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge Stephanie Bowick sided with the founders' lawyer, who argued that the local BLM activists failed to prove they were entitled to the raised funds, or that the foundation leaders had siphoned off millions of dollars of nefarious purposes among unproven allegations. What just people came to realize is especially when you watch the Candace Owens documentary, they were supporting a lot of LGBTQ programs, and there were also a lot of those people were being supported. So like even in the Candace Owens doc, she shows people who are part of those communities that the money went to, and it was all above board. It was all exactly what said was in the documents, or what they were doing with the money, they did with the money for these people. But because these people were gay, or they didn't identify in a way that Candace thought they saw fit, she tried to frame this as fraud or some type of waste. So if you think that it's a scam because it was going to gay people, salute. You're just a homophobe. But
you are. Yeah.
I'm just saying, but if you're trying to say the scam was being done, there was nothing here being done. There's nothing to show that that was the case. These are things that foundations do. That's not crazy. Any of this stuff that they're talking about here. Fraud is a real thing. I think people don't understand fraud. And scam is basically when I say I'm going to do one thing and then I do something completely opposite. Mm-hmm. I say we're going to give money to a community and I take that money and put it in my pocket. Mm-hmm. They wanted this to be that these folks were, trying to profit off their own, but
that's not what was happening.
There's no proof of that, what was happening. Mm-hmm. And even when
I'm sad to say, I never really followed up with this story. I saw the campaign trying to vilify Black Lives Matter. All the news I saw was, and it wasn't from Candace Owens, all the news I saw was one specific leader in Black Lives Matter was like using the money for her own leisure and pleasure. That ended up not being true. So I was wrong about that. But when he brought this up, I was like, yeah, he should have changed his verbiage to the leaders of Black Lives Matter were scammers, but they weren't scammers. Nothing about Black Lives Matter was a scam. The leaders of Black Lives Matter were not scamming people. The movement wasn't a scam. I did see something though that I saw something, and I wish I saved it so I could credit the person who said this, but he said that Black Lives Matter was more effective when it was just a grassroots campaign with no leader, like no face at all. What do you think about that? I think he's right. I feel like these types of movements work a little bit better if there's no leader, no face, nobody to target. And it's just like decentralized, like protests.
But what people don't understand,
what needs to be centralized is the goal and the message and what's trying to get done. But I don't think that there specifically needs to be a.
But the people who are doing this were all had history and organization before. So this wasn't their first time doing that. These were things that they were already passionate about and working with. Mm-hmm. So like even right here it says in 2020-21, IRS filing showed.
Did you say 2020-21?
2020 to 2021.
Oh, okay.
IRS filing showed the Bowers firm received $2.1 million to provide operational support, including staff, fundraising, and other key services. That the lion's share of what the organization spent on consultants in that fiscal year. But local organizers failed to prove in court that either Bowers Farm or their firm siphoned millions of dollars in fees from the donation funds, as their lawsuit alleged. So again, there wasn't any fraud here.
Mm-hmm. There was no fraud. And the Associated Press is a very reputable, non-biased, non-partisan, nowhere leaning source. That's the word I was looking for.
So yeah, that's what is disappointing when it comes to this Yachty shit, because you have the voice that you have and you've used it so recklessly, especially over the last few years. With the Meech, what's his partner name? Mitch. His partner Mitch. A lot of just the different things that was just going on in regards to, because he said other things kind of in line with this before, right? Where it's been in bad taste in regards to like racial issues.
He doesn't care about stuff like this, but most of the rappers don't. They don't satisfy when it comes to like when you ask them about issues having to do with Black people, having to do with anything civil. A$AP Rocky has disappointed us time and time again. And then like rappers are just usually disappointing.
The fucked up part was this was an easy moment to make you look good. She asked you about charities that you was donating for,
and instead of uplifting a charity or organization or a cause that you care about, you decided to shit on another organization, which I think shows a lot about Yachty's character. I think whenever he gets a chance to be positive, then he chooses the opposite. He's a shady bitch.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's
watching the clips from this interview in general. He was having fun with her and whatever, but I genuinely think Lil Yachty is shady as fuck. Like,
no, to me, he's very problematic overall, and he's an example in the worst way of kind of like how I was kind of describing like Kendrick. He's like the worst way that this could even pan out, because he'll use this language when it's convenient for him, but then when it's not, or when it doesn't benefit him,
what language?
The language of revolution in that manner. And that language
Lil Yachty has never presented himself
in this situation. You have to think about the context of what he's saying. He's calling this organization a scam. Mm-hmm. So he's trying to say that they are opposed to Black people. Mm-hmm. When you use that kind of language, that is revolutionary language. That is resistance language. And for you to not be someone of that ilk, you're just using that to bring down actual Black organizations.
This is the first and only time he's ever used revolutionary language. Lil Yachty is not that nigga when it comes to like talking about politics and things of that nature. Like, this is the first time that he's, to my knowledge, that he's done that. I think he should probably just stay away from that.
And you stupid niggas got to stop listening to Candace Owens. Or if you do, please Google some shit afterwards.
The only time I ever listened to Candace Owens was about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. That's the only time I was sat for one of her videos.
No, she can kill the white people though.
She ate that up.
When she chooses to go at white people, that's some of her best work.
I think her gossip work is great because it is, it's just gossip and that everything is like not actually based on any fact.
Well, not all her gossip work, because calling that man the French prime minister's wife transgender is that's crazy gossip.
Okay, I was just celebrity things. When I say gossip, I mean celebrity,
crazy gossip.
Hollywood.
She made another documentary about it. Like she is full force in this.
Oh Lord! All right.
I'm just telling you, man.
Candace is a mess, man.